Who can analyze the ethical implications here? Imagine a classroom where everyone knows AI, but no one knows how to think.
Everyone is debating whether AI belongs in education. But UNESCO has already answered that question. The real question is, are we teaching AI the right way? This is one of the biggest debates in education right now. Should artificial intelligence be part of our education system or not? Some people believe AI will make students lazy. Others believe it's the future, and every child should learn it as early as possible. But while we're still debating this question, UNESCO has already developed a clear framework for AI in education. The question is no longer whether AI should be part of education. The real question is how should we teach AI responsibly? And I believe that as educators, it's our responsibility not only to understand UNESCO's vision ourselves but also to educate parents about it. Because when parents hear the words AI in education, many imagine children simply using ChatGPT to complete homework or becoming dependent on technology. But that's not what UNESCO is promoting. UNESCO is encouraging schools to prepare children for a future where AI is becoming a part of everyday life. So before we form an opinion, let's first understand UNESCO's real goal. When we hear the words AI in education, most of us immediately think about learning how to use AI tools like ChatGPT or Gemini. But according to UNESCO, AI education is much bigger than learning how to use technology. The real goal is to prepare learners who can think independently, make responsible decisions, and use AI in ways that benefit both themselves and society. Imagine two students working on the same assignment. One student copies everything AI writes and submits it. The other student uses AI to understand the topic, verifies the information, adds personal ideas, and then completes the assignment in their own words. Both students used AI, but only one of them actually learned. That simple example perfectly explains UNESCO's vision. AI should support learning, not replace learning. So what exactly is UNESCO trying to achieve? UNESCO believes that education should develop much more than technical skills. Students should learn how to think critically instead of accepting every AI answer as correct. They should develop ethical values so they know when using AI is appropriate and when it isn't. They should understand how AI works, what it can do, and equally important, what it cannot do. And finally, they should learn how to use AI creatively to solve real-world problems. In other words, the goal isn't to create children who simply know how to use AI tools. The goal is to develop responsible citizens who know when, why, and how to use AI wisely. To make this vision practical, UNESCO has organized AI learning into 4 competency domains. Think of these domains as 4 building blocks that help students become responsible users of artificial intelligence. The first domain focuses on keeping people at the center of technology. The second teaches students to make ethical decisions while using AI. The third helps learners understand how AI actually works and where it is used in the real world. And the fourth encourages students to become innovators who use AI to solve meaningful problems. Let's explore the first domain of UNESCO. The first competency domain is human-centered mindset. Personally, I think this is the foundation of UNESCO's entire framework. Why? Because it reminds us that AI is a tool, not a replacement for human intelligence. Technology should always support people, not replace the qualities that make us human. Think about the skills AI cannot truly replace. Empathy, creativity, collaboration, communication, judgment. These are the qualities education has always aimed to develop. Let's look at a simple classroom example. Imagine a student using AI to write a speech. If the student copies the entire response, learning stops there. But if the student asks AI for ideas, checks the facts, adds personal experiences, and rewrites the speech in their own words, AI becomes a learning partner rather than a shortcut. That's exactly what UNESCO means by keeping humans at the center of learning. Let's explore the second domain of UNESCO. The second competency domain is ethics of AI. As AI becomes more powerful, ethical thinking becomes even more important. Students shouldn't believe something simply because AI generated it. Instead, they should develop the habit of asking questions. Is this information accurate? Could it be biased? Does it respect someone's privacy? Is it fair? Should I even be using AI in this situation? Let's consider a practical example. Using AI at home to understand a difficult science topic is a great way to support learning. But using AI during an examination changes the purpose of assessment completely. The problem isn't the technology. The problem is how we choose to use it. That's why UNESCO believes ethical decision-making should always come before technical skills. Let's move further to see third domain of UNESCO. The third competency domain is AI techniques and applications. This domain helps students understand how AI actually works. They don't need to become computer scientists, but they should understand that AI learns from large amounts of data, identifies patterns, and makes predictions. Most importantly, they should understand that AI is not perfect. Let's take healthcare as an example. Today, AI can examine medical images and identify possible signs of disease within seconds. Does that mean doctors are no longer needed? Of course not. Doctors still study the results, consider the patient's history, communicate with families, and make the final diagnosis. AI supports human expertise, it doesn't replace it. The same is true in education, transportation, agriculture, finance, and environmental protection. Understanding both the strengths and limitations of AI helps students become informed users rather than blind users of technology. Let's go through the fourth and last domain of UNESCO. The fourth competency domain is AI system design. This domain encourages students to think like problem solvers. Instead of asking, "How can I use AI?" students begin asking, "What problem can AI help solve?" This doesn't mean every child needs to become a programmer. It's about developing creativity and innovation. Imagine a student noticing that elderly people often forget to take their medicine. That student might design the idea of an AI-powered reminder system. Another student might think about an AI tool that helps children with dyslexia read more confidently. The goal isn't to build complicated software. The goal is to identify real-world challenges and think creatively about how AI could become part of the solution. This is how education prepares future innovators rather than future consumers of technology. So what have we learned today? UNESCO isn't asking schools to simply teach AI tools. It's asking schools to prepare students for an AI-powered future. A future where learners think critically, make ethical decisions, understand technology, and use innovation to improve society. The future won't belong to those who simply know how to use AI. It will belong to those who know when, why, and how to use AI responsibly. Before I end this presentation, here's an interesting fact. Did you know that UNESCO has identified 12 AI competencies organized into these 4 competency domains? These competencies are designed to help learners become ethical, informed, responsible, and creative users of artificial intelligence. The purpose isn't to create AI experts in primary school. The purpose is to prepare students for a world where AI will increasingly influence education, healthcare, workplaces, and everyday life. As educators and parents, our responsibility isn't to stop children from using AI. Our responsibility is to teach them how to use it thoughtfully, responsibly, and ethically. Because at the end of the day, education has never been about memorizing information. It's about developing human beings who can think, question, create, and make decisions that improve the world around them. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this presentation valuable, please share it with another teacher, school leader, or parent. Together, we can ensure that AI becomes a tool that strengthens education, not something that replaces the human values at the heart of learning.